Title: The Lantern Keeper. Once, in a village nestled at the edge of a vast enchanted forest, there lived a young girl named Lyra. The village had always been safe, thanks to a row of ancient lanterns that lined the paths, their glowing light keeping the darkness at bay. The lanterns were not just ordinary lights. They were magical, each one powered by the spirits of the forest, and they kept the village safe from the creatures that roamed in the shadows. However, one by one, the lanterns had begun to flicker and fade. The village was slowly slipping into darkness, and no one knew how to restore the light. Lyra's grandmother, once a revered lantern keeper, had always told her stories of the lantern's power and the great responsibility of guarding them. But Lyra had never imagined that she would have to take on such a task, especially when she wasn't sure how to reignite the lanterns that protected her people. One evening, as the last of the lanterns went out, Lyra wandered deep into the forest in search of answers. As she ventured further, the air grew cooler, and the trees whispered secrets. Suddenly, a soft glow appeared before her, and from the light stepped a peculiar figure. It was a spirit, an old, bearded man with twinkling eyes, wearing a cloak made of leaves and starlight. "I am Orion, the spirit of the lanterns," he said with a grin. "I see you've come for help, young keeper." Lyra, surprised but relieved, explained her plight. Orion chuckled softly, his voice like the rustling of leaves. "The lanterns are powered by the heart of the forest, but to reignite them, you must first restore the balance of light and shadow. And that requires a heart full of courage, kindness, and belief." Orion told Lyra that the lanterns had grown dim because the people of the village had forgotten the importance of harmony with nature. The forest had become forgotten and neglected, and the spirit of the lanterns was now weakened. The only way to restore the lanterns was for Lyra to embark on a journey deep within the heart of the forest, to find the legendary crystal of light, a gem that could harness the magic of the forest and reignite the lanterns. But she would not be alone. Orion, though invisible to most, would guide her every step of the way. As they journeyed through the forest, Lyra faced many trials. She helped creatures in need, restored delicate flowers, and listened to the ancient wisdom of the trees. With each act of kindness, the lanterns in the village flickered brighter, though they were still far from their full glow. Finally, after days of traveling, Lyra reached the heart of the forest, where the crystal of light rested in a hidden cave, guarded by a dark shadow. The shadow was the embodiment of the forgotten and neglected darkness that had taken root in the hearts of the villagers. It tested Lyra, challenging her beliefs and forcing her to confront her own doubts. But Lyra, with the encouragement of Orion and the strength of her love for her people, stood tall and approached the shadow. "Light and shadow must coexist," she said bravely. "One cannot exist without the other." The shadow wavered, and with a final surge of light, Lyra grasped the crystal of light. The shadow dissolved, and the crystal's magic surged through her. As Lyra returned to the village, she placed the crystal at the base of the largest lantern. The light from the crystal spread through the village, reigniting every lantern with a brilliant, warm glow. The village had been saved, but more importantly, the people had learned to respect the balance of nature. From that day forward, Lyra became the new lantern keeper, with Orion by her side, ensuring that the light would never fade again. And so, in a village once surrounded by darkness, the light of the lanterns continued to shine, not just to protect the people, but as a reminder that light and shadow were two parts of a whole, both essential, both necessary, and both part of the same beautiful world. The end.